Hey, Rugby Hub viewers, and welcome back to another episode, exciting episode, as we look forward to another great weekend of the Autumn Nations series. Gabsy, we got hit in the face with some humble pie, and it did taste bitter. What did you think of that game versus Ireland? I think we both predicted that the Springboks would edge, but nevertheless, we knew it was going to be a tough game. What was
Yeah,
your thoughts?
welcome back, Goran. Actually, I still think till this second, and nobody will change my mind about it, that I'm really proud to think that the Box could have won that game if it wasn't for two pathetic decisions. Both tries, in my opinion, shouldn't have been allowed. And to think that we missed so many opportunities kicking for goal, yeah, we could have
Yeah.
definitely put that game to bed. I'm just disappointed. I know we'll be back stronger, and it once again shows how important a goal kicker is. But I don't
Mm.
understand why the world champions and the world number one team gets a ref that's 28 years old from fucking Georgia. Sorry for my language, but that's how I feel about this. Who played one or two games inside center for Georgia. Why do we get a ref like that? That's just, I don't want to blame the ref. I just don't understand
Okay.
why couldn't we get a
Firstly,
better ref?
we're not going to hate on Georgia, okay? Let's not, I don't want to include any of the Georgians. Rugby is solid. They're coming up. But Gabs, I understand the frustration. I think you share your thoughts with many South Africans about the referee. However, I have to say, number one, firstly, congratulations to Ireland. I thought they really play like a number one team in the world. They came into that game cold. It was their first game of the season, and they still managed to beat the Springboks. And there were a few very key areas where they got the dominance. And I think with the South African style of rugby that they choose to play with the forwards and go from set piece to set piece and try to kick over their goals with the emphasis on try. Um, with that kind of game style, it comes down to key decisions. If you look at the past results where the Springboks played, it was all very tight encounters. It's always between 5 points, or I think the most would be maybe even 10 points, not even. So the decisions of the referee, it really results in a magnitude sort of way in terms of how the game would play out. But that should be no excuse. The Boks need a plan B. They need to learn how to play with their backline more. And I think Ireland
Yeah.
did extremely well to stop our rolling maul. We got no ascendancy from that. And also the scrums. So in the end of the day, you got to give
And the
congratulations
scrums,
to Ireland.
no, well, let's not talk about the ref. How the scrums was pathetic. This ref didn't blow any of the scrums, bro. Like, da, I'm not gonna. I think that we dominated them in the scrums as well. Like, literally, the guy, his head is like on the floor, and then he blows up kits off. No, I don't agree. I think the ref
Well,
really screwed us, and he did us no favor by two tries, not one, but two tries. Clearly, anybody can go and watch those videos. Yeah, let's just agree to
Nevertheless,
disagree.
Rossi
Yeah,
Rasmus obviously also had his thoughts to say after
yeah.
that game in his Twitter account, but we'll leave that to you
I
guys to go
mean,
check that out.
I just want to
Um,
say congratulations, Ireland. At the end of the day, it goes down in the history books as a win for you. But if you were in our shoes, you would probably have felt the same way.
yeah. Anyways, Gabsy, let's move on to the French game. This is a totally different challenge for the Springboks, playing against the number two side in World Rugby at the moment. They're coming off a 11-game winning streak. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, Gordy, I think it's going to be a really big spectacle. I mean, I have to be said, South Africa's in recent years actually been pretty successful against France. The last five times
Yeah.
we played them, we've beaten them. But I think you can add a bit more on that. I mean, I don't think we should take that into our back of our minds when we enter this weekend's game.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the past five results have gone into the favor of the Springboks. However, we haven't played against the new sort of resurgence of Fabien Galtier's French team, who seems to be dominating World Rugby. They just came off the back of a Six Nations title that they won, and by no means it's going to be a very easy. It's by no means going to be an easy game for the Springboks. I mean, we're playing against It's probably the heaviest pack in world rugby. Their forwards are very strong, and they've got a very accurate kicking game, as we saw. So I think it's time we can look at the selections, Gabsy, in terms
Yeah,
of the Springbok squad.
just
Maybe
one
go
last
through
one.
a few changes.
Didn't you actually also say that this French team is actually unbeaten for what, something like 9 or 10 games?
11 games, yeah.
11 games, yeah. So it's definitely going to
Haven't
be a
lost a
challenge.
game this year. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So
one of those.
let's make some history, boys. Yeah, the Bokke actually, obviously, we do see quite a few changes. I think up front it's probably rotational with Ox and Bongi coming in, and Marks and Kitshoff shifting to the bench. And then two big changes in the back line. You see Faf de Klerk coming in, bringing loads of experience.
Mm,
Hopefully his kicking game will also be extremely valuable. And then Willie Leroux, who was tremendous off the bench last week, with
indeed.
Mapimpi shifting to the bench and Hendricks are actually completely out of the matchday squad. Those are your main changes. And of course, Reinach on the bench being included. He plays his rugby in that part of the world. So maybe he also has some insight. And I think we all know you can't give that guy 2 millimeters of space and he'll be gone.
Mm.
So exciting
Yeah,
player. But most important, I think this weekend will be we really need to get our goal kicking sorted.
yeah.
And I'm interested to see who will have the kicking duties. But I really actually hope they just give Damien Willemse the ball and back him the same way they backed Andre Pollard through difficult times. It's only his fourth or fifth game as flyer for the Springboks, so give the chap some chances. Anyways,
Yeah.
what's happening in the French camp?
Well, look, the French have a few injuries, but I mean they've managed to build such a strong depth in their squad that it doesn't really hurt this side. If you look at it, and that front row and actually that entire forward pack is enormous. I mean, this their prop Antonio is a big lump of a human being, so he's going to see if he can get some ascendancy over the box scrum, and then obviously Antoine Dupont being Player of the Year last year, and rightly so. He's a phenomenal player who can unlock sort of any defense. The first head-to-head actually that I want to mention, since we can move on now to the head-to-heads, the first one is Big Yebenetebet playing against Cameron Woki, so the youthful French lock that is also very, very strong over the ball in the how shall I say it, in the breakdown areas. So those two, I think, will have a big game. It's going to come down to the set pieces and the lineouts, and I think those two can really stand out for their teams. Next, Gabsy, is maybe an interesting one, and that's something I mentioned now, is Antoine Dupont, Player of the Year, exceptional player for France, really running their attack with their forwards, with Roman Intermac. He's going head-to-head with Faf de Klerk coming back into
Yeah.
the squad. Now, we know how aggressive Faf de Klerk can be on defense. He's been lacking a bit of form. What do you expect from him this weekend?
I mean, to be honest, I think Faf was one of the players last week that came off the bench and he really showed he's hungry to play. He's
Mm,
got loads of experience, World Cup experience, rugby championship experience. I definitely think that he's also eager to play and really make that starting role his own again. So I
mm.
think he will go out to play very much for the team, but also for himself. The World Cup is next year, and I really think he would obviously love to be the number 9 going into the Rugby World Cup in France next year. And this is a perfect opportunity for him. We all know he's also a good kicker of the ball. Wouldn't be surprised to see him lining up 1 or 2 kicks at goal if all else
Yeah,
fails. So, yeah, no, I think it's going to be a fantastic clash. Probably the pick for me would be those two, both
yeah.
world-class players. But yeah, let's see what happens on Saturday.
Yeah, well said. Last head-to-head that I'm going to mention is the game-winning try that was scored against Australia by the French last weekend, which helped them beat the Australians in the dying minutes of the game, was Damien Penaud. Now, he is an exceptional talent on the right wing for the French, and he's going head-to-head with Kurtley Arendse, who we both know also has electric feet. So that matchup, if it's going to come to a try in the death of the game, you're going to be looking at one of those two players. So it's both
Yeah.
of them also good in the air. And I think France's kicking game, they like to kick long. And if one of those balls jumps loose, Kurtley Arendse moving now instead of Mapimpi onto that left wing. Him and Cheslin Colby will be
Yeah,
very
I mean,
dangerous from the back, with
Cheslin
Billy
Colby
LaRue
also,
obviously
yeah,
pulling the
Colby
strings.
knows these conditions. He's been playing,
Yeah,
the last couple of years. I don't
almost
know what's it
5 years
now,
now. He's getting ready for his
5 years.
citizenship. Yeah.
Exactly. So he knows the French conditions. He knows their style of
Mm.
play. I think he's going to also be a key player for us, and hopefully, he can also dot down a try or two. I would love to see that.
Indeed. Right,
All right,
Gabsy, let's
Goody.
move on to
Yeah,
the rest of the games this weekend. Firstly, let's just
let's
quickly
quickly.
talk about last weekend.
Yeah,
We both obviously got the Springbok game wrong, and then there was a sneaky win from the Argentinians
which
beating
you
the
actually
English,
predicted. You
which
predicted
I
that. Well
predicted. I
done.
actually just
Well done.
wanted to mix up a little bit. Actually, it was well, I thought maybe an underdog would come and give the performance, and they did. Furthermore,
Yeah.
New Zealand beat Wales quite comfortably. And then in the end, sorry, what was that other? Yeah, Australia and France, obviously Ireland and South Africa. And that last game, Gabsy, between what was the fourth game? Or did I mention all
Uh,
of them now?
You mentioned them all. I just wanted to actually have a quick shout
Oh
out
yeah.
to some of our comments that we had on our game. So we had a couple of predictions here for the Bokke close margins. Rotner Roberts Security 21-17 Bokke. Sadly, it wasn't to be. Um,
Mm.
we had a guy here, Peter Rousseau. He predicted the Bokke by 12. I guess that guy had a bit of brandy. He was pretty confident. Then yeah, another guy, Christoph Bart, Bokke by 3. There was a lot of
Mm.
Bokke bets, and then we also had a few Irish fans who obviously came back afterwards to tell us, how can we dare to say this? Thomas Pollock, Ireland win. Congratulations, Thomas. And then Mark
Yeah.
C, Ireland beat England the last 2 years in Six Nations. So yeah, to all of you, I have to say thank you so much for all the comments. I have to
Mm.
be honest, it's really highly appreciated. I think it's over 50 comments, so we can't get through all of them. But please come back this week again with your predictions and your comments. We really appreciate it, and it's really
Yeah.
good entertainment for all.
Thanks, guys.
But
Let's just quickly look at the games ahead, Gabsy.
yes,
First one coming
let's.
up.
So this weekend we've got quite a few games. I don't want to say not so spectacular games, but you've got first off Ireland, Fiji, Goran.
It's gonna be Ireland, surely. I mean,
Yeah, I'm also
there's
gonna
definitely going to
go.
be rotation in the squad, but
But
I mean, after
yeah,
that, yeah, great performance against the Springboks, it has to be Ireland. So yeah,
yeah, Ireland, Fiji. I'll have to go with Ireland. Then it's Italy, Australia.
gonna go with the
Australia.
Australians, even though I think Gorbisi and his men could potentially cause an upset, but I'll go Australia on this one.
Yeah, I think this Australia for me as well. England, Japan. Gonna go with Eddie Jones and his men, I guess.
I think I'll actually this time around I'll go with Japan.
All right, lovely. Hate the English, eh?
No, I
Wales,
just think Japan is good.
Argentina.
Wales, Argentina. Come on, Argentina. I'm gonna go with Argentina.
I sadly don't think they can do it back to back. I'll go with Wales, even though I would
Okay.
like Argentina to win. Then the big game, France versus South Africa.
Gabs, you don't even have to say it. Our heart is in this one again. I gotta go Springboks for this one.
No,
It's
I
gonna be a
definitely
tight
have to
game
go
though.
with the Bokke. Yeah, and then there's one game on Sunday, Scotland, New Zealand. I
Oh,
guess
that's
it's.
an exciting game. Finn Russell is back.
I think the
So
Kiwis are gonna smash them anyways, though. Doesn't matter. I'm
yeah, I've got
fancy
to go New
contests.
Zealand again, unfortunately.
And then just one last one is a interesting game this weekend: Spain, Namibia.
Oh, we gotta go to our neighbors, Gabs.
Gotta go
Namibia.
to our neighbors, Namibia. Bring it home for the boys. Great,
Come on,
that's a
boys.
wrap. I think we're already over time. And
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for all the comments and love last week. Please do the same this week. Share with friends and family, and let's go Bokke. We are
Thanks,
biased
Gabs. You have a
because we
good one.
are Bokke fans, and that ref was still not good in my opinion. Thank you guys. Have a good
All
evening.
right, guys. Have a good weekend.
Cheers.